Chapter 12. Harry's team in action. 7:11 p.m. Monday, 17th of August, 1970. Lucky 8 Casino, Rue du Faubourg Saint-Denis, Paris. Harry is searching for a leadership mantra to keep him on point. He draws deep on a Benson and Hedges. The smoke is soothing. Fergal has vanished. Patrice is banged up. He won't talk, though. No worries on that front. Alec has reported utter failure to lay his hands on the detonator. The little schoolteacher is temporarily beyond reach, and must be brought back into reach and under Harry's control. Induced to yield up the detonator. And then disposed of. What would Sun Tzu have to say about all this? Harry can only bring to mind the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Not immediately helpful. Let's see. Alec has failed to get the detonator so far, but he's a good lad. He's bungled, and that will put him on his mettle. Who to send with him? There's the rub. Who's on the strength that's reliable, and won't talk if he's caught, has got the muscle to grab this tiresome girl, and isn't going to have an attack of conscience when she gets hurt? Maybe Alec will know. Summoned, Alec's response knocks Harry back. There's no lad like that here, not anymore. He muses for a moment, then adds, and if you want my opinion, boss, it was a mistake to beat Fergal up, right? He's stupid, right enough. But he's mad for what he calls a free Ireland. He didn't hide that detonator. Alec shakes his head. He wants to see Paris blown up, right? If he's got it now, but I bet he hasn't, then he's on the job this minute, checking all the wiring connections before he wires it in. You're saying, what? You want to go to the tower and look for him? Nah, he's stupid. And soft-hearted about women. Nah, I'm sayin'. This isn't a job for one of the lads, right? It's a job for Gillian. Or easier, that woman who came here. Not Aileen. She'd never go along with it. Just because she wants some tax records altered doesn't make her willing to blow people up. Likely she'd turn us in. Go get Gillian. Harry lights another smoke. Amelie doesn't like him smoking in the casino. She doesn't like him to enjoy himself much at all, a right killjoy, but what she doesn't know can't hurt him. Odd notion Alec has there, bringing one of the croupiers into this, and a woman at that. But Gillian will do whatever she's told, and she hasn't a sympathetic bone in her body. Not a bad choice, really. Alec's idea turns out to be simple enough. Gillian will get the schoolteacher talking, ask her for the time, or directions, or something. Since she doesn't know Gillian, now Harry sees why Aileen had been Alec's preference. The little schoolteacher would talk to her all day. And while her attention's on Gillian, Alec will knock her out from behind. Then they'll bundle her into the Daimler and bring her here. Sound plan. Go get her. Harry discovers that he's out of smokes. Gillian. On your way out, get the bartender to send in a packet of Benson and Hedges. Tristan Toussaint's listening team at the Direction Générale de la Sécurité Extérieure heard and recorded the entire conversation Harry has just had with Alec and Gillian, thanks to the bug which Ellis Peverell installed when he blagged his way into Harry's office. They flag it at once. What have they flagged? The bomb threat. An ops team is instantly dispatched to the Eiffel Tower. What of Mari's predicament? The listening team don't have sufficient info to act. Who is the schoolteacher the bombers are going to kidnap? Where is she located? The listeners can't send an intervention team to an unknown location to help an unknown target who is about to be accosted by a woman for whom they have no description. Best they can do is continue to keep a watch on the casino, which has been watched around the clock ever since Ellis had confided in Tristan at the British Embassy, and try to spot the victim when she is being smuggled in, a forlorn hope. Mari is on her own. The cavalry isn't coming. Of course, things would have turned out differently if Tristan had heard that conversation. But he is closeted in an interrogation room with the assailant, who has so far refused to give his name, and the message brought to him simply says that an ops team had been sent to the Eiffel Tower to check on the possibility that the bomb might have been hidden there. Things would have turned out differently if Ellis had heard that conversation. But he is on his way to the casino to discover who the second assailant had been, since nothing in the way of useful information had emerged at the Hotel Albert. No cavalry on the horizon. I'm feeling pretty sick and shaken when the taxi deposits me at the Major's hotel. Before I can open my bag to pay him, almost before I take my hand off the taxi's door handle, he tears off again. I'm not even going to try to work that one out. As I limp into the foyer, one of the gliding waiters appears and ushers me into the beautiful sitting room. Moments later, a second waiter arrives with a blanket. A third comes in carrying the tea things. The first waiter kneels and removes my broken shoe, and then the other shoe. A fourth waiter arrives with a pair of fluffy slippers. How do they do it? Answering the silent invitation of the blanket, I swing my legs onto the sofa and am at once enveloped in softest lambswool. I've fallen asleep before they have time to make the tea or bring any aspirin. When I wake up, it's to find Ellis bending over me again, smiling his delightful smile. Feeling better now, are we, old girl? I sit up hastily, embarrassed to have been found in disarray. Yes, thanks. But I can't sit here, I need to make myself presentable. Oh, just look at me, lying here in fluffy slippers. My heel broke when I was running away from that lunatic. I remember that once I had thought of Ellis as a lunatic, and blush. This is so embarrassing. I need to stop squirming and go get some shoes. But Ellis is sitting down, so clearly he doesn't think that I'm about to dash off in search of footwear. Mari, I don't think you have much left in the way of shoes. Or clothes. The intruders wrecked your room. I stare at him, not taking really it in. Where am I going to get some shoes? I need to get some shoes. What time is it? Are the shoe shops still open? He waves his hand, a bit impatiently I think. Oh yes, Galerie des Tuileries, Galerie des Arcades, Galerie Lafayette, they're all open until at least 10 o'clock tonight. This is Paris, old girl. Everyone shops their heads off. It was definitely testy, the way he said that. The Major is annoyed for some reason. But I've no time to wonder about why he's annoyed, I need to get some shoes. I struggle to my feet. Instantly the Major is by my side, holding my elbow, steadying me. It's really astonishing, the way he can move so fast without seeming to move at all. He shifts his grip to my shoulders, and gently pushes me back down. Mari, you're in shock. You're not going anywhere for a bit. Drink some tea, and in a little while my doctor will come to see you. I'll go and ring him right now. And he's gone. Good. I can go get some shoes. It's easier getting to my feet this time, and I drift out to the lobby and through the lobby to the entrance. I ask the doorman to get me a taxi. Seconds later he's holding a taxi door open for me. I say that I want to go to Galerie des Arcades. As I open my bag to tip him, I see my stupid hotel key lying on top of my hairbrush. Oh, yes, I'd still had it in my hand when the Major bundled me into a taxi outside the Hotel Albert. Well, no time to worry about that. I need to get some shoes. So I tip the doorman and my taxi eases into the traffic stream. As the taxi driver pulls into the traffic, Alec and Gillian come around the street corner just in time to spot Mari sitting in the back of a taxi. It hadn't been easy tracking her to the Hotel Marquis, and now she's gone. Alec snarls. Gillian puts her hand out, halting him. Wait here. I'll talk to the doorman. Smiling her best professional croupier smile, Gillian speaks briefly to the doorman. He signals for another taxi. Gillian waves Alec over, tips the doorman, and they are on their way to Galerie des Arcades. As soon as the taxi is out of sight of the doorman, it stops and drops off Alec, who needs to go and get the Daimler. I'm at Galerie des Arcades almost at once. It's just off the Champs-Élysées. It's beautiful. A tremendously elegant frontage leading into a long glass-covered passageway of gorgeous shops full of the most exotic things, each lovelier than the last. Where am I going to find, in this exquisite shopping place, anything as simple and utilitarian as a pair of walking shoes? After that terrifying run down the stairs at the Hotel Albert I'm in no mood to buy high heels. Some good stout brogues will do me nicely. If I can find them. I feel terribly self-conscious wandering through this fairyland in fluffy slippers. But I can't see any shoe shops, so what can I do? I walk a little further in, still not seeing any shoe shops, and a fresh worry assails me. This looks like an extremely expensive place. Do I have enough money on me to buy shoes? Do I even have my passport with me? I still haven't had time to change any of my traveler's checks for francs. I feel like I've been running on a hamster wheel ever since I arrived in Paris, moving faster and faster and never getting anywhere. And whether that's true or not, I certainly haven't had time to get into a bank to change my traveler's checks for francs. Snobby shops like these will accept traveler's checks, of course, but not if I don't have my passport. I'm beginning to scrabble frantically through my bag to see if my passport's in there, when a woman's hand touches me lightly on the arm. "Excuse me, miss, could you direct me to the ladies' room, please?" A sixth sense warns me. Thinking about it later, I realized the slightly accented French voice speaking to me in English had alerted me to my danger. Why should a random stranger speak to me in English, if she wasn't English herself? If she knew me for a foreigner, a stranger, why should she ask me for directions to the powder room, when it was likely that a stranger wouldn't know where it was, and on all sides there were native Parisiennes who could tell her? But of course at the time I didn't think about it at all. I reacted instinctively. All by itself, my hand closes on my room key and I whirl around just as fast as I can in fluffy slippers, not all that fast but fast enough, and see the man who was with the rhinoceros when he attacked me. So I reach up as high as I can and hit him alongside the head with the giant brass key fob just as hard as I can. It's not hard enough. He staggers, but he comes back fast and mean, a cosh in his hand. I move instantly, so the cosh only catches me a glancing blow, but my head and face explode with the pain of it. With every movement I make, my fluffy slippers are sliding on the beautifully smooth paving of this exquisite arcade. I know that if I try to run I'll slip and fall. I can't run away. I can't hit him hard enough to knock him out. I can't move fast enough to dodge his next blow. No one is coming to my rescue. There seems to be no way I can escape from this monster. But I'm from Glasgow. We ken street fighting there. True to my heritage, faster than thought, I turn the key sideways, point on, and jab it straight into his eye. He screams and drops the cosh, bringing his hands up to his eye. A security guard runs up, far too late to be of any use to anyone. People are shouting. Some are running away. And I still don't have any shoes. I wait stoically. Eventually the gendarmes turn up and instead of taking me to the pokey they bring me back to the Hotel Marquis. That's a surprise, but then I see Ellis standing there in the lobby. I might have known it. He wasn't even there, but somehow he took charge anyway. Well, I should be grateful. It's not as if I wanted to go to the pokey. He takes me into the beautiful sitting room and they bring me tea and aspirin. The doctor comes and puts a bandage on the side of my head. Then they all go away, except Ellis, who begins to tell me just how foolish I've been and how lucky I am to still be alive. Eventually he finishes up his gentle lecture on the need to take better care of myself and sits back, smiling his delightful smile and looking rather relieved. I drink my tea, wondering why I'm resentful of the lecture. He's right. He's always right. I should have sat there patiently and waited for his doctor to come and treat me for shock. If I'd done what Ellis said to do, I'd have saved myself a frightening and painful episode, and when all is said and done, me racing off like that didn't make anything any better. Yes, the gendarmes have locked up my second set of assail ants. So what? We don't know why those goons trashed my hotel room. We don't know why they attacked me in the middle of the parade of beautiful shops in Galerie des Arcades. My head hurts. And I don't have any shoes. But a tiny rebellious part of my mind says I was okay. No one was there to save me, but I saved myself. What right does the major have to lecture me anyway? He's not my father. There's no point in thinking like that, however, and no point in strolling down memory lane. Ellis is right. It's dangerous out there. I blink back to the present. Liana is still locked up, and I am no closer to finding any evidence which will help to free her. Of course I'm glad that the major has discovered more clues which are important to his gun-running case, even if a tiny bit resentful about the way he's been using me. Well, in fairness, he's not really been using me. If I'd done what he wanted me to do, I'd not have been in harm's way. We've been working together because for different reasons we want the same things, some of the time, that's all. And I still don't understand why that bothers me, why I wish that Ellis wanted to help me, not because watching over me might help him to catch his gun runners, but just because he wants to help me. It's a crazy way to feel. What does it matter why he's helping me? Why should I care why he does anything? But I do. I'm not going to think about it anymore. It's a mystery, and there are more important things to worry about, with weapons turning up all over Europe. I was amazed when Ellis told me that Paris, which seems so glamorous to us, had its own troubles and its own IRA called Organisation Armée Secrète, OAS. Eerily the same really, the French were oppressing Algeria just like the English oppressing Ireland, and some people were fighting it. But the IRA is fighting to free Ireland. The OAS was fighting to keep Algeria under French rule. The OAS got disbanded years ago, and Harry Brown has been gathering up people who were unhappy about that to be his own wee army helping him to move weapons. Harry had been storing the weapons in the Eiffel Tower, pretending that it was stuff for the Bastille Day celebrations, and after that, stuff being stockpiled for the coming New Year celebration. It's not that I mind helping the Major to catch his gun runners. I want to help him catch them. The thought of armed goons running around Paris attacking people is frightening, especially since I'm one of the people being attacked. I just wish. But I'm not going to think about that anymore. I need to talk to Ellis sensibly about what's been happening. Ellis, I don't understand. You say that police are watching the Hotel Albert front and back, and ready to watch my new room too. The gendarmes won't let anyone into the lobby who isn't a guest. And so I'll be safe enough, you say. But why did those men attack me in the first place? You said that it had something to do with a woman who approached Liana and me on the boat. No one did. Our boat journey was uneventful. Do you mean when we met Valerie on the train? Valerie is under suspicion. My heart sinks. I really like Valerie and I've been hoping that she's got nothing to do with any of this, that she's just as helpless in the face of a cruel fate as Liana and me. I want to believe that she's been thrown into this crazy mess for no sane reason, just like us, and is trying to help catch the baddies, like me. But I remember all sorts of worrying things. Maybe she is a part of this plot. Maybe she's in it up to her neck. But no, I don't mean Valerie. Someone else approached you, she's our target. I don't know who you mean. A Senegalese woman. Tall. Distinctive looking. Does nothing come to mind? No one asked us to do anything, Ellis. We got on the train from Glasgow to London, then went straight to our B&B. We ate our evening meal there, went out to the theatre, came straight back and went to bed. Next day we got on the boat train first thing in the morning. We got on the ferry. We ate lunch at Le Havre and got on the train to Paris, and that's it. Nothing else happened. We spoke to Valerie and Fergal and Aileen and Senga and the people who served us food and took our tickets, and you. No one else. But the little voice at the back of my head is screaming again, telling me that we did speak to someone else. Who could it have been? I think back. Liana wouldn't go into the refreshment saloon because she thought that she'd seen Charlie Stout. So we stayed on deck. No one else was on deck. We didn't speak to anyone because there was no one on deck to speak to, until people began pouring out of the refreshment saloon, getting ready to disembark at Le Havre. Wait a moment. I say slowly, there was a woman who spoke to us on the ferry, but it was nothing. She just said that the weather was nice and then she drifted off. What did she look like? She was a tall dark woman and she was wrapped up in a kind of windbreaker. She had an unusual accent. That's our target. What did she say to you, Murray? Try to remember every word. I think that she said she lives in Le Havre. Yes. I asked her if she would be traveling with us to Paris and she said that she wouldn't be, because she lives in Le Havre. And she said it was a beautiful day, with the breeze just right. But it was nothing. She just said the weather was nice and admired Liana's luggage. Ellis pounces. You didn't say anything about her admiring your luggage. The woman didn't say anything about luggage, She just looked at Liana's cases admiringly. People are always admiring Liana's things. She has beautiful luggage. She had beautiful luggage. I begin to cry. Then I straighten up again and try to stop. Crying won't help. Liana buys beautiful things, everyone admires them. That woman just looked at the luggage in an admiring way, because Liana. I break down again, her beautiful luggage all cut up, and her lovely sponge bag, it was brand new. Wait a minute. There was something. I'm quivering. Ellis, when I was getting ready for Mass on Sunday, I found a beautiful sponge bag in my luggage. It wasn't mine and it wasn't Liana's. I wondered how it got into my suitcase. Lost. Ellis groans. There was something in that sponge bag and the people I'm searching for found it. No, they didn't. When I found the bag, and I couldn't make the hotel staff understand about lost property, I asked the clerk at reception to put it into the hotel safe. Ellis jumps to his feet. Must make a phone call. You won't run away this time, will you, Mari? He smiles that wonderful smile again, and I feel so safe, which is crazy, with armed gun runners after me. No. I smile mistily back up at him. I'll wait right here for you, Ellis.